now where these students are, these are all kids now that have graduated from university, who are moving on in different vocations, but who want to keep a link with regard to being together and making a difference.
The leaders, the people who have potential, great and immense potential to transform this country.
They have a valuable experience in the universities or wherever they've been.
And as they are transitioning into society, I think it is important for them to ask themselves what is their new role.
And therefore, having a facility or a platform that allows them to transition, I think is a fantastic idea.
And we are very confident that this group of young people has the potential to lead Kenya for the rest of this century. And that's why we are investing time and money.
It behooves us to continue to build in these young people the pedigree of leadership, servant leadership, transformational leadership that we want to see in another 5 to 10 years.
We are envisioning forming a think tank for this country where leaders, will continue to be developed, not just for this country, but also for this region and for Africa as a whole.
We need to nurture these energies into a right direction and really bring them to the fore because they're actually future presidents.
So it's looking at the process we have already in AYLF, breaking it down, analyzing it, and evaluating it to see how we can build value for alumni student leaders.
So to pull them together, bring them into one room from the different universities of this country is in itself a unique situation.
Just to sit down, hang around each other, form friendship, but above all, think. When people come together as a team and join forces, have a common vision, then nothing can stop them.
Going forward, 2020, 2025, 2030, we will need a very different breed of leadership. We will need people who are hands-on, able to think on their feet, and of course at peace with the rapid pace of change. And I think they must not get under tsunami and be crushed by it. They must surf the tsunami.
Basic things that you must consider when you're having that paradigm shift from power to service are you must ask the critical questions: who you are and where you're going and where are you. You must be able to articulate for yourself a plan, a life plan. And then you must find within that life plan a leadership agenda and a service agenda.
I feel like I'm part of a group that can make impact to our generation.
Being challenged to be a think tank for my country because the old people have played their part and this is our time to think for the future.
We have a responsibility to shape our nation now going forward, and that responsibility rests with us.
If at all every young person thinks before putting anything into action, would be a better group of people.
To brainstorm, to come up with the ideas that can be able to transform this country and take this country forward.
Basically being challenged to think, challenged to come up with solutions for the issues of our times.
I still need to stand out and speak out because I have learned and I've been refreshed that without a title, I should still be able to offer service to the community and not to wield power from the people.
Takes us to a level where we can actually be used by the country.
I think that AYLF's focus on transforming this country is timely and absolutely necessary.
A very ambitious but thoughtful group that's determined to make a big impact in this country and on this continent.
We are looking at AYLF as an organization through which we can begin to ask the question, what do the youth of Kenya want? How do they want that delivered? And how can we help them get there?
What the young people look up to is that mentorship, leadership, so that someone can hold your hand and walk you through and say, I've been through this journey, these are the mistakes I made, and these are the successes.
I would love to see that in the next parliament and the following parliament especially, that we could count more than 50% of people who are in leadership positions, both as technocrats or as politicians or in the private sector, as being from the AYLF pedigree.
And these will be people who can hold each other accountable.
My hope is that there would be an incremental growth of these leaders. I would hope that they would take up leadership in the national, at the national level, but that they would continue their passion for issues of justice and righteousness and good living.
They will make amazing leadership, not only in Kenya, not only in Africa, but in any sphere that they go into.
Given who God intended them to be, for them to ask themselves, who am I? For them to find their purpose and fulfill it, so that in fulfilling that purpose that is theirs today, then they are able to create a platform for the future generation, which then comes and builds on what they have built.
My generation has done Vision 2030, and Vision 2030 is now being executed. After Vision 2030, what?
And I would want to urge them collectively to ensure that they go down in history, not as a generation which only knew what needed to be done, because many of us know what needed to be done, but one which had the courage, the commitment, and the conviction to see it done, and saw it done.
You don't educate the next generation, it could be over.